Hello. Oh. What are you eating, Ben?
I'm making little boats for a Coriolis effect.
Oh, okay. We're experimenting in the sink again. Yeah. Coriolis is
reversing every 4 minutes. That's the way the weather's gone nuts again. So it's going to be interesting for someone to do it in the Northern Hemisphere over the next few days. You do it every 4 minutes or so and see if it reverses. It should be going anti-clockwise in North America or Europe and clockwise in Australia. But it's been doing this while the bad weather's been on. It's going back and forth like this.
Now, babe, what's with the lights?
What light?
Let there be light. Or not.
$8 in a $2 store.
Yeah, the reject shop.
You would have thought for $8 you get 4 pair, right? Well, $2 store.
Well, no. It wasn't a $2 store. It was a reject shop.
Oh, that's right. Get rejected. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we shop, at the reject shop. So, having much fun with our brand new glasses. Actually, these are amazing. They come with spare batteries, and the frame, Sherry, honey, if you see this, the frames are like optical frames. They're really sturdy. They're not like your regular cheap junk shop stock. These are worth the $8. Hello! Look at this. You can read anywhere at any time.
If you're blind in one eye, you're going to have to turn one side.
How about that?
My father said to me once, you're getting older, right? He put up the bowling greens, lawn bowls. Said, I'll go on up there, he's as blind as a bat. And the captain gets up the end where he wants the bowl to be placed against a little cap. He blows a whistle. And so this old guy, by the sound, bowls. He said, yeah, he's a good bowler too. So you've got to think about these things when you get old. I said, yeah, really? Yep. He said, I think I'd rather be blind than deaf. If you're blind, you still play bowls, obviously. All you can do is hear the whistle. You can hear the music. So I said to him, well, if I had my ruthers, I'd rather be blind in one eye and deaf in one ear. He wasn't happy with that. He was very upset, right?
Oh. Now, we've picked up our suitcases and things that have been in storage down in Melbourne, Castlemaine.
Got rammed by the Mossad, tried to kill us.
Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is
$6,200 damage to the car. We paid $7,500 for it. We could paid out $6,200. Then we got $620 back for the air conditioner wasn't working either. So we ended up getting the car for about $1,000.
Love it.
So now we're seriously looking at liposuction for one of us.
Oh dear.
You can have a vote on who you think's going to get the liposuction.
Actually, I was just chatting with Manon and Tabo. Cardio kickboxing, dancing. Tabo.
Well, I won't be doing that either.
No, you won't be.
So add that to the list of things I won't be doing.
All right, so we've had fun with our, we'll be back with a serious upload tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. We're done with serious, I think. Oh, speaking of serious, and not the star.
Radio program you're talking about?
No.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Well, yeah, okay, we can talk about the radio program. Let's put some lights on. Not those. Yes, the radio program that...
oh, that's better.
That's better. Let there be light. As you can see, I've picked up the suitcases with our Fiji gear in it, and I'm wearing a Fiji sarong, one of the many that... yeah, what were we talking about? The radio program.
Radio program.
Yeah. So, Graham, Toowoomba, lovely guy, a real saint. Diana, you might have already heard this from Graham, but he listens late at night to a particular radio station and a particular DJ who was having trouble remembering the fellow's name. Given another week or two, he might have thought of it. But anyway, what he was saying was that the DJ always had this particular introduction to the radio. You'd recognise the show by the, what do they call it? Jingle, theme song, whatever. And he's changed it recently to a more angelic sounding theme song, and he's been telling people that's because we've crossed over to the north side of the Milky Way galaxy, back into the heavenly realm. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there is nobody else in the world of bullshit talking about moving back over into the north side of the Milky Way galaxy, the heavenly side, except God himself, the stone the builders rejected, and everybody else out there.
From here on known as the fourth urinal.
Which was 22.2 centimetres. James, that was
That's
for
how
you.
long I was when I was born.
No, that was inches.
No, I'm talking about the urinal part.
Yeah, the urinal part was 22.2 centimetres.
Sometimes you just don't pick it up real quick, do you?
Well, I'm answering James's question. Was that inches? No, that was your length at birth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, so what have we learned from our trip back? It's confirmed, isn't
Well,
it?
Mossad can't kill us.
Yeah, what else?
By trying to kill us, we get a car for $1,000, which was quite prepared. This car had $20,000 worth of paint job.
Paint job. Oh, couldn't believe it. The body shop guy.
The body shop guy said he'd charge $20,000 for that.
20 grand to do that paint job. Candy, apple, anything, whether it be red, pink, or purple, or green, as we have.
You'd probably get it done for $400 in America, but that's not the point.
Yes, he said that paint job he'd be charging 20 grand. That's before any other repairs.
$2,400 just for the tailgate.
Yes, that's the invoice. So, yeah, we end up with both. Now, what else did we learn from our trip? We'll talk about.
Well, we talked to my niece's husband, who is descended from the King of Morocco, and he's the man that when we were talking about Jaime, he was locked up in a prison in Morocco, and I said to Michelle at the Catholic Club in Hurstville in Australia, Sydney, Australia. It's a good place. You can get $1 meal there and spend $50 on the poker machines. Anyhow, I said, you love him? She said, yeah. I said, you want me to get him back for you? She said, yes. So I said, well, let's go down and phone up where he is. She said, he's in jail. I said, no. So we go down and find, in the rain, we find a phone box, which takes one of these call cards. And actually worked, quite rare for Australia, because they usually get brutalised within a few minutes. As soon as the guy who installs it walks away, the kids get in and run it, right? This one worked, and I said, well, phone where you were living together the last time you were together. And that was in a Jewish lady's apartment or guest house, that's what it was. Boarding house in London. And as Michelle was talking and reminding her who she was and so forth, she asked the lady if she'd seen Jaime. And she said, no, I hadn't seen him. And as she's saying, no, I hadn't seen him, he walks in the door. Now, when we're down in talking to the kids down there, I told the youngster, in particular Lily, because Lily was born because of that coming together of the two. And Jaime had told me originally, and so had Michelle, that while he was locked up, the angel Gabriel appeared to him and took him up into the heavens for 3 days and showed him what was going to happen in the future, and that his girlfriend, which was Michelle at the time, is the niece of Christ. And he told me about Lexus, and there's a face of God in this old ruined, must be some sort of a temple or something. And the Lexus River, I of course measured it, it's 222 miles long, it means light. And so he then gets out of Morocco, comes back into England. He's a Muslim, and he's threatening the life of the Queen, yet they let him in, like an impossibility. And he said he got followed around all the time. He was in London looking for Michelle, and finally walks into the guest house where they were as we were bringing from Australia. So Lily, she was born from that, and I kept, even when she was little, I used to say, well, this is how it come about. I arranged it for you, right? That's why I'm God. I said, but whatever your parents say and whatever adults teach you at school, it's all bullshit. Just learn and teach yourself and discern which is right and which is wrong. But because of the prophecies of the Bible and the royal family being God has to come through the royal family. Got to be the most royal man on the planet. What's the point? That was. And to put everything straight, but will be rejected because adults are all stupid. And that is why you have to become like a little child to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So I said, now you stay as sweet as you are, keep your mind open. She said, I'm already doing that. So she had been over with Michelle and the two sisters over to the Philippines, where my nephew, with the proceeds of his drug money, and had built a house, $164,000 worth of house in Australian money. In the Philippines is a lot of money. And while he had the people working for him over there, he screamed his lungs out night and day. And he's been doing that ever since he's a 2-year-old. So his wife that he married over there, what date did they marry?
26th of September 2011.
26th of September 2011. I haven't done the numbers on it yet. I will. However, he was told, because he's a lunatic, he was told by the Garvan Institute that had studied my blood that his blood also had chromosome, what is it, 3, 4 and 13, which is 3, 4, 13 in Greek is the angel Michael, which is the angel of Jesus. It's also the angel of Israel, not the Jewish Israel, that's bullshit one. The true Israel, which is the descendants of the true line of kings that come down through Ireland, Scotland and England, Cornwall. So he just blurted this out and he said to me, he said, I hate being mad. Well, you were there. I hate being mad. He said, you're the only one in the family that ain't mad. I said, well, maybe you should listen to me. Right. And what he was doing on his farm, he had excavated 3 or 4 dams down a hill. And he wanted to feed electricity back onto the grid. And he had stolen this 400 metres of cable. Everything he does, he steals. He's a thief. He's a liar on that bit. Drug addict. You know, he's done it. And he frequents brothels continuously. Now, what he had done was he started to build this, and this guy's a licensed builder too. He started to build this tower thing, and I said, well, what are you doing? And he said that he's going to lift the water up to the top and let it drain down and build a flywheel where the water is going to hit it and turn it, and he's going to use the differential out of the car and put paddles on it attached to the wheels, and they're going to turn over and generate power. I said, but how are you going to get water up top? Well, that part confused him a little bit. I said, if you're going to have over unity, you've got to use resources that you've got available. You've got to use magnets, or you've got to use hydrogen, or you've got to use something that you can generate for nothing, and therefore drive power. So I said, now you've got 4 dams here, remember that? And this is quite substantial, about as big as a house, one dam, and then there's another dam below that where he's building this bloody thing, another one below that, another one down maybe 150 feet below that. I said, what you do is, because we're at the end of the ranges, it forms a valley of his property, and the wind blows like a hurricane sometimes. I said, what you do is you put up several windmills, right, which drive mechanical pumps. And the mechanical pumps can pump water as high as you like. You go 2,000 feet with a mechanical pump. So I said, what you do is you take the water from the bottom and then pump it to the top. Maybe if you've got to build another one, make it even higher. And then you run the water down through a turbine, and this will give you continuous electricity that you can feed onto the grid. Right? You might be at $200 a day. Who knows, maybe more. Didn't quite get that. So he called me a stupid old dickhead, although he usually do. Something like that. And of course, when we go out there to see, what I want to do is get one of my trailers back that I'd given to his father to bring our stuff up from Melbourne to here. And then we was going to go back down to get more stuff. And being a nice chap, what he is, he told his sister that he'd sold them because we go out to the farm to have a look and they're still sitting there rusting away. So he's just an arsehole. They won't even let his uncle, his own trailer back. So over in the Philippines, he marries this woman. She had been brought in by this criminal who owned several of the sort of bar brothels, a German fella, bad man, and his wife. And the wife didn't want to have a baby. Well, I can expect him, why not, with that arsehole. Right? So he gets this young girl coming in, 17 years old, live in the house, and he gets her pregnant to have babies. Right? The wife doesn't like it, the German woman, so she divorces him and goes back. Now, being Germans nationals, they can get divorced. But in the Philippines, once you marry, you marry for life. You can't get divorced. So the guy finally dies of cancer, and the lady inherits. And she's got 2 girls, is that right? So Stephen gets over there and he sees an opportunity here. He's going to have his own brothel. And he marries this woman. So now they're married for life. He spends $164,000, huge amount of money in the Philippines,
And
to
all
build this beautiful house.
in her name.
And everything's in her name.
Because of the law.
Because of the law.
Foreign nationals can't.
So when the kids are over there with Stephen's sister, he becomes ill. He has 3 days blackout. And then when they was leaving to go on the flight back, one of his eyes has bugged out his head. And he couldn't get off the bed to move. But the lady had said that Stephen yells at her all the time and terrifies her and the kids, right, because he's a lunatic. So she asked Michelle what properties he owns in Australia, because if he's dead, she gets the properties in Australia too, but she's got to know where they are. Right? So she then says to Michelle about this constant abuse. Her former husband used to belt her so much he used to make his fist bleed, her and the kids. So that's the kind of arsehole she lived with. Until Stephen came along, another arsehole. And now he's screaming and terrorising her. And goes off to the brothels, which he's not real happy with. And any woman wouldn't be, I imagine. So she says to Michelle that she's very well connected with the criminal element there, and that with one phone call, she could get someone come out and shoot him in the head. Well, Michael, his brother, was shot in the head, and that's the guy that was involved with me in the Miracle Water and Hovel Street in Melbourne, Main Street in Melbourne. We're setting up an AIDS and cancer clinic. And we got in an altercation, and he's a 3-time world kickboxing champion. And he punched me several times, and I said, that's it, you get stuck. So I walked out. I said, you prick, you can have it. And he says to me, don't tell the family or I'll kill you. I said, you don't think I'm frightened, you asshole. So he was quite surprised, and he burst into tears. He's a man, we're 3-time world kickboxing champion. He said, oh, I thought you were like my father. I said, this is what you do to your father? I'm covered in blood, wearing my glasses. He hit me in the glasses and they cut either side of my eyes. And split the nose and teeth. So anyhow, I dreamed 5 days in a row up until the 25th of October 2003 that he was laying face down with his eye blown out, shot 4 times in the back of the head. He was also shot in the back. So I dreamed this before it happened. So on the Friday at 6:36 in the evening, on the 25th of October 2003, the star directly above where he got shot was YBS 7703, which is found in Job 15:21. The 15:21 number is the same length as to lead in from the Grand Gallery of the Great Pyramid into the unfinished Queen's Chamber, which represents the future. And 1521 days before, the 21st of December 2012, we cured our first AIDS patient in New Guinea. James, right? He became James Bond, didn't he? This man couldn't hardly move, couldn't blink his eyes. And so we cured him within a few minutes. And the next day he's running around like James Bond, collecting beer bottles, as we did for him.
007.
Anyhow, getting back to Stephen, he was born on the anniversary of the judgment against Charles I. And what's odd about it, this is in 1649. 3 days later, Charles I was beheaded. Now, he was a man who loved Jesus. He said he was going to be with Jesus. And the Jews in Amsterdam had arranged it. And they told Cromwell that they had to get, to finance England again, they had to allow the Jews back in, of course, and get rid of Charles I, but not to make it look like they're behind it. So they then set him up and they charged him with being a tyrant and they bullshitted it.
They allowed him to escape.
Allowed him to escape, and he was taking the treasury across into Scotland and the River Fife or something like that, and the damn boat sunk or something like that. So they say. They probably stole the gold and said he lost it. That's probably the truth of it all. So Stephen, he had fallen in love with a lady who looked like Cindy Crawford on a trip going over to Europe. He met her on a plane. Fallen madly in love. Going all over Europe together. Was there for the solar eclipse in, he went to Romania, where the highest of the arc was, and with this lady, and saw the transition of the solar eclipse of 1999, the last of the millennium, on the 11th of August. Right, now, he then goes back to, coming back to Australia, and he's going to sell up his farm, where we went out, where he's got my stolen trailer. And he decides, he's so much in love, you know, you've got to put it that way. He goes to the brothels in Amsterdam, shags himself stupid, and then gets stoned out of his tree, and they load him up with $500,000 worth of ecstasy or something like that. And he flies into Australia. And I told him, first off, you've got to go clean, right? And also not to do anything illegal, because they're watching the Marshall family. So his name is Stephen Andrew Marshall. So he gets nailed, coming into Sydney with all these drugs on him, as he's stoned out of his tree. Yeah. Gets 5 years jail. This happened on May the 11th, I believe, which is the same date I left Australia and returned to Australia. No, that was the date I met Michelle in Melbourne in 1997.
And it's also the same date that you left.
Same date I left in 1989 to Canada, on the run from the war. All right, so we're very well known to the ASIO and to, of course, the Federal Police and the State Police and Interpol and so forth. So Interpol tipped the Federal Police off that he's coming in, and of course he gets nailed. And he says to me, oh, it's only because one of the 10 most wanted names on the Interpol was Stephen Michael Marshall, Scotsman. He says, for digger, that's you. And too late. His first day in jail, he's going to serve 5 years. And he's walking into the library looking for something to do, and a book falls off the library shelf. Something similar to what happened to me with the other book that I found. And it was open at page 222. Now, there's 222 truths in the Bible, 222 wisdoms, and I weigh 222 pounds, and 3 times 222 is, gazel. So, the book is open, and it's on the beheading of Charles I, and they didn't cut his head off with a clean snap. They hacked it off. Now, remembering that Stephen was born in 1963, on the same date as the judgment against the king, in 1649. So I tell Michelle, my niece, that's his sister, ring the idiot up and say that his wife said that she wanted to know what property he owned in Australia, which is also a farm and I think something else, a shop. He owns a shop. with a residence, and this farm with a residence.
Mm.
And at that point, he should have picked up. He didn't. And then she says, I'm very well connected through her husband, she now owns these brothels or nightclubs.
It's a nightclub.
And with one phone call,
Mm.
I could have Stephen shot in the head.
Mm.
Now, his brother had been shot in the head. So I'm telling Michelle, tell Stephen that this is what his wife is thinking. If he doesn't stop going to brothels and if he doesn't stop abusing her, that she's going to get rid of him because she's got, in their kind of money, $1 million reason to knock him off. Right? So this is what happened on the trip down there. We also talked to Jaime. This is the wife, the husband of Michelle, my niece. And his story is somewhat changed about what originally he told me. And now he is the great Marty. He's also the king of the world. What else is he? Oh, if he dies, the whole world dies.
And the sun is his wife.
And the sun is his wife.
And the moon tells the sun.
And the moon tells the sun what to do. This is coming from the mind of a man that studies the Quran, which is a Sunni fucked in the head Muslim, which they all are. Right? That's why the Persians study and believe Jesus came, died on the cross according to the old prophecies, the Hindu prophecies, because they study all the prophecies. Right? So now we're at a situation where the last report we've had is that one of the chemical plants, alleged chemical plants, in Iran was hit by...
No, Syria.
Syria, sorry.
Israel struck
Syria and took out
their... was taking out one of their lead scientists. And
killed 2 men.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right, yep.
Now, this is the red line that we're approaching, which Iran is talking about. And it's very likely that with the accompanying and backing of Russia, the Arab League, which are all Sunni Muslims, all fucked in the head Muslims, but Persia is quite capable of taking out, and they don't need nuclear weapons. In any case, nuclear weapons won't work now because we're in the northern side of the Milky Way galaxy. That's what this radio station thing was all about.
That's right.
So the word's sneaking out. And Protocol 14 is we will forbid Christ. Well, of course, they're not doing a very good job of it. Because we are now over the...
And
Don't hurt me.
22,246 views on Sherry's
I'll tell the story
channel.
about that one.
Well, the anonymous vid, where they've apologised for working for the devil. They've realised the error of their ways, and they are now serving the Christ, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall. It's had 22,246 views. Let's see, 32 thumbs up and 162 thumbs down. And the trolls are having a field day. By the way, trolls, you're in good company.
You're doing a very good job. Keep it up.
Good company. What was that about? What conclusion did we
Well, your enemy's enemy becomes your friend.
Yes. But
Don't make the trolls my enemy, and they can't help talking about me, telling the bloody world what a wanker I am, and in fact, that's exactly what I'm trying to make them do. And they're doing it.
You've got no idea how he just revels in being a wanker. I knew before I found him.
I was a wanker.
That God was a dork, and if it's odd, it's got to be God, and a sense of humour, hates religion, and that the F word is his favourite word. So, you know, of course, that's blasphemy in the world of those who are worshipping the image of the beast.
Fuck the Christians.
Yeah.
Fuck the Muslims.
Totally.
Let me know if I missed somebody.
How many did we find worthy to be saved on that trip? So trolls are in really good company. The rest of the world is disqualified as well. So keep it up. Everybody.
So I'll tell the kids, this is my niece's kids. They're glued to every word we say.
Yes.
And I told them, you listen to what your parents say or what your teachers say because they're all fucked in the head.
Totally. Of consumed and devoured.
You've got to be like a little child to enter the kingdom of God.
Mm.
Since it's my kingdom, the adults aren't getting in.
That's right.
Unless they repent.
Not walking through our door.
Now,
Anyway.
Coriolis effect.
Yeah.
It's been reversing every 4 minutes.
Mm.
This is what's causing this weather. And out from the centre of the Milky Way galaxy, it's all light emerging from the other realm of heaven, if you like. And this is why they say there's a black hole in the middle of it. It's got the stupidest statement of all time. They've got a great big mass of white stars.
Mm.
And they're saying, oh, they're all been drawn in. From where? Right?
Mm.
In fact, they're spewing out. And what's happening is there's waves coming out from the centre of this white hole, where all this energy is pouring through. And of course, here's the Earth like that, and these waves are coming through. And depending where we are, because we're travelling at 69,000 miles per hour, and we're coming up at 63.5 degrees or something like that.
It means kilometres.
Kilometres per hour. And the waves, where we cross through that, we are crossing through the tip of these, and they're quite close together. And that's why you go on one side of it, 4 minutes later, the bloody corrie out the water draining down the tap is going the other direction. So if you want to prove if I'm full of shit or not, go to your sink, and for the next hour, put a little pistachio nut in like that and float. Make sure the water's not spinning. You can do that with putting a couple of plates in or something like that. Pour the water in slowly, fill it up, make sure it's not spinning, and then let it drain out and get a CD, or a DVD, like this. Like that. Put it over the sink, put a grape or something in there, like I did, and fill it up with water. Take the grape away, and then watch as the water will start to drain down. And sometimes it goes straight down without any spin at all. But at this point in time, it's been spinning backwards, and the date is what, the 1st of January? 1st of February?
31st of January.
2013.
Mm.
And you'll find it'll spin. Sometimes it goes straight down, and then another time we go back to the way. And that's because we're riding through this peak of magnetic energy waves coming out from the centre of the Milky Way galaxy.
So, anything else for tonight?
Oh, we got a car for nothing when
We'll
Mossad tried to kill us. We covered that?
We'll
Oh.
cover it. Anyway, I'm really tired.
Brilliant bit of
It's
driving,
sleep.
I thought.
So it's been.
They try to push
our
us
trip
in front
was
of a big freight line.
Yeah, our trip was also all about delay. We knew that before we left. Stars were talking about delay because we were delayed everywhere. Delayed over the air conditioning, delayed over the accident, and then delayed 4 days with flood waters. However, really pleased to be home.
So there's a great big freight liner coming through. We're coming off the expressway, and this car rams us from behind.
Yep.
And pushes into the front of this bloody truck.
However,
But, as you know, accelerate, throw it into reverse, hit the brakes. While the wheels are spinning, it spins the car around. And of course, the truck misses us by the length of my dick.
and there was no pole involved, was there?
You know what?
No pole, only an Egyptian.
I wasn't happy with that. We were very upset, right?
Oh. Now, we've picked up our suitcases and things that have been in storage down in Melbourne, Castlemaine.
Got rammed by the Mossad, trying to kill us.
Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is...
$6,200 damage to the car. We paid $7,500 for it. We could paid out $6,200. Then we got $620 back for the air conditioner wasn't working either. So we ended up getting the car for about $1,000.
Love it.
So now we're seriously looking at...
So, having much fun with our brand new glasses. Actually, these are amazing. They come with spare batteries. And the frame, Sherry, honey, if you see this, the frames are like optical frames. They're really sturdy. They're not like your regular cheap junk shop stock. These are worth the $8. Hello! Look at this. You can read anywhere at any time.
If you're blind in one eye, you're going to have to turn one side.
How about that?
My father said to me once, You're getting older, right? You put up the bowling greens, lawn bowls.
Hello. Oh. What are you eating, Ben?
I'm making little boats for the Coriolis effect.
Oh, okay. We're experimenting in the sink again. Yeah. Coriolis is
Reversing every 4 minutes.
going
That's the way the
clockwise.
weather's gone nuts again. So it's going to be interesting for someone to do it in the Northern Hemisphere over the next few days. You do it every 4 minutes or so. And see if it reverses. It should be going. So the old guy up there is as blind as a bat. And the captain gets up the end where he wants the bowl to be placed against a little gap. He blows a whistle. And so this old guy, by the sound, bowls. He's a good bowler too. So you've got to think about these things when you get old. I said, yeah, really? Yep. He said, I think I'd rather be blind than deaf. If you're blind, you still play bowls, obviously. All you can do is hear the whistle. You can hear the music. So I said to him, well, if I had my rudders, I'd rather be blind in one eye and deaf in one ear. Anti-clockwise in North America or Europe, and clockwise in Australia. But it's been doing this while the bad weather's been on. It's going back and forth like this.
Now, babe, what's with the lights?
What light?
Let there be light. Or not.
$8 and a $2 store.
Yeah, the reject shop.
You would have thought for $8 you get 4 pair, right? Well, $2 store.
Well, no. It wasn't a $2 store. It was a reject shop.
Oh, that's right. I get rejected. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we shop, at the reject shop.